All right, let me hop to it then. I saw this on TikTok a few days ago, but it was that if like they switched places chronologically and like LeBron had his exact same career, but it happened when Jordan's happened, and Jordan had his exact same career, but it happened like now when LeBron's happened. So they just flipped who came first. That LeBron would be the like undisputed GOAT because he would have 4. He would own all of the record books. Like he would be first in like everything. Jordan would win 6 rings, but like everyone would be like, LeBron dominated for 20 years, owned all the record books, and Jordan just wouldn't be able to like do enough to surpass that. Even he basically have the rings, and that's it. But the fact that he came first and like the undefeated legacy kind of like just built this whole like mythology around like him made it hard for LeBron to pass. But I think that mythology would go around LeBron being like, he was been great for 20 years, and first in scoring. I think he's going to end up top 3 in assists all time.
He'll probably end
the
up
rebound record
top
books
everything.
Too. Yeah. I think that would play differently if he came first.
I like what you're saying, Court. Like I hear your argument. And I think the exact opposite.
Really?
So I think that LeBron in the Jordan era actually wouldn't have been as dominant. And
that's not even what I was like saying. I was just saying you take their career and you say that like whatever they have now, you just say LeBron was first. And
they just did that first.
But we can go that direction too if you want. I don't really know what I think about that.
Yeah,
but what's your take on what you were saying? I mean,
well, my take on what I was saying is that I think it was actually more physical back in the Jordan era. And I think LeBron partly, I mean, he's so skilled, he's so talented, he's so smart. But I think partly he dominates because he's just more physical, or was more physical than a lot of his competition in the era of, early 2000s beyond.
My take on that is that I think LeBron and Jordan would have been just as good as either era. Jordan would dominate today. LeBron would like, they're both so good that there's just.
So you don't think Jordan? So you don't think Jordan is better or worse in one era or the other? Same with LeBron.
Not really. Because Jordan, you could say would be worse because he wasn't a great shooter. But I think Jordan would just become a great 3-point shooter. Like, he would focus on that way more. LeBron is really physical. Like, I think he'd be able to hang with the physical game of the 90s, and he's so much more skilled. Yeah, I think they'd both just dominate.
I think he would hang with the physicality, but I think, one, he wouldn't have the longevity that he had because I bet you he'd get injured.
That might be true.
And I also think that just the overall physicality would not allow him to dominate physically as much as he had in his era.
Mm-hmm. I think guys were less skilled, but like his skills would probably stand out even more though.
That's probably true, but I think there was more tolerance for hitting a guy hard fouls, and LeBron is not a good free throw shooter either. You know what I mean? So that there's kind of a respect thing too in the league. You don't really go at LeBron. That one crazy dude on the Pistons. Just one of the best videos. It's so crazy.
I actually think.
Go ahead, Cody. Yeah.
I think. Well, now there's 3 different questions. Court, your initial question. Court, your initial question of I do think LeBron's legacy coming first. The mythology around that would be hard to overtake. It would be so crazy. But I do think that actually that serves Jordan better, because I think the take LeBron gets from being in this era is that it's much harder to win 6 in a row in this era. Where if Jordan came second and he won 6 in a row in today's game, that might give Jordan more credibility than him doing it back then. Because now there's.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Now it's been done too. When Jordan did it, he did it, and no one else has done that. It was undisputed that he was the greatest.
Yeah, then now LeBron would be even longer that no one had done it.
Right. And then LeBron comes along, challenges the greatness, but the one thing that people use against him You didn't get those 6 championships. But if he did it first, and it was like LeBron's the greatest, but he only had 4 championships, and then MJ came along and did what he did, won 6 out of 6, I think he would actually become the undisputed. So
and I think,
good hot take, but I
think that would actually help Jordan's case. But I think Jamie's
era thing, like it being so much harder, I didn't even really think about that. I don't know. I guess that's part of the question. Yeah.
I think to Jamie's point, I think LeBron actually would have been better if he played later. Because I think today's game...
Wait.
You mean earlier?
Earlier, yeah. If he played in Jordan's era, I think his legacy would be better, and I think he would be just better because I think in today's game, they made rules to make it a shooter's league. They sped up the game. They increased 3-point percentage. Where LeBron, I think, is, with the exception of like Wilt Chamberlain and Shaq, like as far as a wing guard skills player, he's the most physical specimen ever. And I think if he played in an era that rewarded physicality more than 3-point shooting, he would be even more dominant. That's my thing with LeBron, where like that would serve him very well if Steph Curry wasn't allowed to take 15 threes a game playing against him.
Yeah.
And
if you think about it, like slashers were like really valuable then, and he's like the best slasher like ever.
Yeah. I think, and like his biggest weakness in today's era was his 3-point shooting for a long time, and that just wouldn't be looked at as a weakness back then. He would be like a solid 3-point shooter. You said
about the free throws though, that like he probably gets sent to the line a lot. That would kind of like him.
But they call it tighter.
He's not very reliable as a free throw shooter. That's the only thing that would kind of like.
Wouldn't he go to the free throw line less though? Because they call it tighter today. It's more ticky tack.
Oh,
yeah, but he goes to the free throw line less. But it's not like he's making it every time. Like then he gets fouled more on a shot. Nothing's getting called. I think there would be more no calls. And I think, but then that might shape LeBron differently because I think LeBron has become this kind of. They call him a little whiner. He is kind of a whiner. I mean, he doesn't get a call and like he freaks out. And I love LeBron, and the debate of him and MJ in my mind is there's no answer. So I respect him a lot, but I do think he's become very whiny, and I think it's a result of him being allowed to be like that and the overall culture in the NBA. It's like similar to soccer. No offense, Court, but it's so whiny.
We know you played intramural soccer, Court.
Sorry, Court. This is a direct attack.
That was my favorite part of soccer too.
And like it is strategical in a way. But anyways, I think that LeBron maybe actually would have turned out to be more dominant if he got less calls and less like superstar treatment. I think it would have made him tougher. And I do think he's the most physical, athletic specimen, one of them to ever play in the league. So if you unleash even more of that, I'm just going through people and we'll finish. And I'm not looking for a foul. I'm not looking to take the contact and like, get the whistle. I'm gonna finish on someone every time. I don't know. I mean, LeBron could do that.
I also think that going back to Court's initial question, one thing that would really be hard for Jordan to pass up LeBron if LeBron came first is LeBron would have the scoring record still in this era. And everyone, when everyone's like, Jordan would average 50 in this era if he played.
True.
Just says ridiculous stuff like that. I think if LeBron came first and Jordan still didn't beat his scoring record, everyone would be like, LeBron would average 100 if he played in today's game. You know what I mean? Like that saying would be ridiculous if LeBron came first.
Yeah.
That's like Wilt Chamberlain. How would Wilt Chamberlain do in this day and age?
But that was like so long ago that people are just like don't even like you know what I mean? They don't even say like what he would do today.
Yeah. Before the 80s, I put an asterisk on stats and rings.
It is so different. Like if you watch footage from back then, it's just like
even the 80s. You watch basketball in the 80s and like up to mid 90s.
Way different.
It's a very different game.
But Cody's point about the championships thing, like now I'm picturing like someone winning 6 in a row today. That's like
if LeBron
was it 6 in a row?
Well, he took a year off.
Technically, it was 3 and 3.
Yeah. Like just imagining, like thinking about the teams today and imagining someone do that would be like that would be pretty noteworthy. So I don't know.
Well, no one's done it. Yeah. No one's still done it.
Like if LeBron did that today, I don't think there would be that much of a debate. If LeBron was
that's the only thing people use against him. That's it.
Yeah.
And maybe the clutch thing too.
Yeah.
Wait, so where do you guys stand on it just as is? Who's your GOAT?
I think go ahead. Well, MJ.
Yeah, probably.
And that's just because it's a perfect championship record. And that's the ultimate goal, is to win championships. So if you're looking at the absolute best player, this goes back to the MVP debate. Like, overall best player ever. And you could say Bill Russell has 10 championships or what, this and that, but that was in an era that we don't necessarily take into account. And
it is an impossible question though. And LeBron playing so well like this year is kind of like influencing me a little bit. Like, even though it like kind of shouldn't really matter in terms of like overall accomplishments, like him being like a top 10 player in his 20th year when he's like almost 40 is like like no one has even come close to that.
I kind of think
that's where the debate is hard, because we've said this before: longevity versus like just straight perfect record.
I think
if I was drafting a player, I'd probably if I was drafting a career, like what someone was going to do for me for over the span of their career, I'd probably take LeBron, because like, you know what I mean.
I think that's an interesting
another hot take.
Would be if they played at the same time, who would people say is the greatest? Because if they played at the same time, do you think Jordan would be scoring more points than KD's been scoring while LeBron's been here? LeBron's been unanimously better than KD, even though he hasn't been the best like whatever ISO score in the league. So that's
Jordan's just been a lot better like in the playoffs than KD overall.
Yeah, that's true.
Who was considered better when it was Kobe and LeBron?
Well, Kobe for a while, and then LeBron passed him up.
Yeah.
After Kobe won that like 09 championship, the last one.
I think LeBron was.
I think it was a little before that.
03, 04, right? LeBron 03, 04.
03.
Yep. And then
I think it was like 08.
I think it was like Shaq till 05, and then I think Kobe had like probably 6 to 9 or 10. And then I think LeBron.
Oh, really?
LeBron was kind of like all of the
10s. A little sooner than that. But yeah.
What'd you say, Court?
I thought LeBron passed up Kobe a little sooner than that, like 08.
Let's leave it for the next hot take.
Kobe was only the best player in the world for like 2 years, maybe.
But that's something too that Michael Jordan benefits from, of basically not winning rings, but walking into the NBA. Everyone was kind of like, oh, he's better than everyone. Like almost since he walked. He didn't have the titles in the resume, but everyone around the league, I feel like, we're like, oh, he's better than everyone in the league.
LeBron too, kind of.
Magic and Larry Bird were still in the league.
Yeah, but didn't Jordan come in and average like 35 as a rookie? He just came in and was like,
but he couldn't even get past. He couldn't even get past the conference final.
I don't think his numbers are that crazy, but I don't know.
He averaged 28, 6 and 6 as a rookie.
Yeah, that's nuts.
That's what you just come in doing that. It's like you can't come in and do that today.
Nah.
Like Wembanyama's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna.
I don't think he's gonna.
I don't think he is
he might
either.
24 though, 25.
I think he could. I don't think he will. The crazy thing is, if you look at Magic Johnson's numbers and you look at the amount of games he played compared to his stats, accomplishments, accolades versus everybody else, that's pretty impressive. That changes the certain debates in my head, where I kind of write off Magic Johnson, but then you look at how short his career was and how much he did, and that's
Well, that's where the word of like greatest versus best really defines the era. Because if you're talking about greatest, to me, it's how much you dominated your era, which is why I have Jordan over LeBron. But I think LeBron might be the best player ever, but Jordan was greater in comparison to his counterparts during his era.
Yeah,
and I think
there's no question.
And I think Magic, Steph, kind of that same thing. Like Magic was greater, I think, in comparison to his counterparts. Where Steph, I'm drafting Steph first if there's a fantasy draft.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.